I am seeing your chain, and I'm so ill. This is a warning, I can't be killed. All in your cabeza, without a chaser. Not another teacher with this much flavor. Get your hands up for Espanol. The Spanish evil genius, they're probably the meanest. Say hello to part 2, a classic caliente. It's 1-0-2, and I know how much you miss me. I'm chained, and I cannot die. I'm chained, and I cannot die. I'm chained, and I cannot die. No, I cannot die. No, I can't.
Hey there, Nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back with another episode of Tales from the Tackle Zone. This is our series that's dedicated to Blood Bowl battle reports, and this is Season 2 of our league. And this is battle report number 4. It is a game that takes place in the New World Conference. And this game is actually kind of neat because it's also my very first game of Blood Bowl within my own league. So I will be playing the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, my Necromantic Horrors team, and I'll be playing against my friend Senior Chang of the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators of his Lizardmen team. So this is actually the second game within the New World Conference, but the 4th battle report overall. And as you can see, we have a packed crowd right here in O'Reilly Stadium where our game is actually taking place. As you can see, we have members of the Vampire Counts as well as the Undead cheering on their very favorite members of the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Even up here in the nosebleed seats up in the Aqueducts. At the same time, we have the armies of the Lizards of Waz, which is our Studio 3000 point Lizardman army. It's a Lizardman / Orc and Goblin army where the Lizardmen have converted Orcs and Goblins over to the ways of the Great Old Ones. So yeah, this is my very first game in the New World Conference, so I'm super excited to see exactly how this Necromantic Horrors team plays out. Right now, when it comes to our fan factors, both of us have a fan factor of 2. We both have one dedicated fan apiece, and we actually rolled up on that one. And I will be kicking off in this one. I actually won the roll off on this, so I will be kicking off in the first half, so that way I can receive in the second half. Now, for our weather conditions for this battle report is perfect weather conditions for Blood Bowl, so that part is epic. At the same time, when they came off to the kickoff table, I managed to put the ball here right between these two skinks, but it bounced over 5 over squares over to 6 o'clock position, right over there. At the same time, I got brilliant coaching as my kickoff. So because of that, I do have one extra reroll that I must use in this drive. And if I don't use it, I lose it at the end of the drive. So that part is all kinds of awesome. So now that we got both our teams set up, let's go ahead and throw it down for turn number 1 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. We'll be right back after our turn 1 actions. Alright, so we're back up to turn number 1 for the Crater Gator Gwaka'Moli Gators. As you can see over here on the top, a lot of action is taking place, primarily along here in the bottom part of the line of scrimmage. It looks like what's happening is that my buddy Senior Chang is knocking over my guys. As you can see, I lost a couple of zombies, as well as a flesh golem. Those guys got knocked down. I think what he's trying to do is actually try to drive a pocket right through the middle of the line, so that way his skinks can actually run through. And the reason why is because the only people who can really pass on this team are the skinks. So this team is primarily a running team. Same thing with my team as well. However, the biggest impact took place right over here. As you can see, they do start making a hole right in the center, but Lizardman player number 4, Quesadilla, he actually tries to throw a block into my flesh golem over here. I believe that character's name is Geraldus von Stahl. Tries to throw directly into him, but unfortunately he gets knocked down pretty bad. So Comrade Volek actually knocks him down instead, and because he falls, it causes immediate turnover. And so with that, we go directly to my first turn for the Blood Bowl. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 1 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. As you can see, quite a bit of dramatic movement took place directly back here in the infield. First of all, I stood up all my players that got knocked down earlier, so that way they can stand up and still be in blocking position when the turn finally ends. However, I did send both of my ghouls. I had them sweep in from both sides of the ends of the white zone, coming into the flanks, as you can see here, heading directly towards that ball. So because that Isidore von Drachenfeld as well as Norma de Acqui They try to move as quick as they can in order to try to grab that ball. I did have to burn up my reroll using this ghoul because he did stumble when he rushed forward. But that was perfectly fine because I had one additional reroll because of this drive. However, the most dramatic action took place over here on the top. I sent one of my werewolves, player number 9, Urban Draco was his name. He goes crashing directly into player number 11, Soft Taco, which is one of the skinks. I did manage to push him back once, but because of the frenzy skill, I have to go again. So I used my frenzy skill, and unfortunately I got both players knocked down, so because of that, that pretty much ends the drive for me and ends turn number 1 for my team. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Crater Gator, Gwaka'Moli, the Gators of Gwaka'Moli Crater. So that takes us to turn number 2 for the Crater Gator, Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. So as you can see over here for Senior Chang, not much really happened. He did try to do something really dramatic though. His Chameleon Skink, that player number 8, Doritos Locos, that guy tried to actually move from his position over here and actually exploited the pocket right in the center of the battlefield. But the problem is he had to go through 2 of these guys' tackle zones. Was able to pass it pretty easy. I mean, he does have agility 3 up, so he's doing pretty good. Now, the problem what they ran into is that he tried to rush 2 squares. On his second square, he rolled a 1, and then, of course, my friend Senior Chang burned one of his rerolls. Unfortunately, rolled another one again, so because that Doritos Loco does trip and fall, which immediately causes a turnover for this turn. So with that being said, we'll come back with my actions for turn number 2. Alright, so this takes right to the top of turn number 2, and the first thing I try to do is I try to do a blitz action. As you can see right here, it ended up being a disaster. First of all, I sent this player, I believe this player's name is Norman de Aq, goes directly into this player as well. I believe that player's name is Cinnabite, I think is his name. So I did try to do a blitz action. Unfortunately for me, I've got both knocked down as a result. So because I did burn up one of my rerolls, dropping me down 1 reroll for this half. Unfortunately for me though, I rerolled the same exact result, ended up being a player down or both knocked down. So I decided to go with both knocked down. And not to mention, they also both penetrate each other's armor and both also stunned one another, causing immediate turnover. And once again, nobody has possession of the ball because this game is slowly becoming a Benny Hill video is basically what's happening. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we go directly to the top of turn number 3 for my buddy Senior Chang. We're back with turn number 3 for Senior Chang as well as the Gators of Gwaka'Moli Crater. And as you can see, quite a bit of drama took place right here on the main line of scrimmage. First of all, Senior Chang actually did a pretty good job of just knocking back a couple of my players down here, as well as up here, making this huge opening in order for his team to actually roll through. So once he actually drove up that line and actually busted it open, player number 11, scheme player, his name is Soft Taco, he actually moves up directly from the wide zone, moves up and picks up the ball, and moves it 2 squares directly towards his hole in the pocket. Meanwhile, over here, we have this player, let me double check this player's name real quick, it's player number 11, Soft Taco. Soft Taco then moves up, sorry, not Soft Taco. Cinnabite, he moves up in order to cover him at the same time, so that way no one can attack him from his back rank. Meanwhile, this skink rolls over because he's been stunned in the previous turn. And then over here we have players Doritos Locos, player number 9, the Chameleon Skink. He moves up as quickly as he can, trying to make his way directly to the end zone. Same thing with player number 7, Crunchy Taco. He moves in also from the white zone, moving over in order to give himself some avenues. Some options. So because Senior Chang is looking pretty good, he can either run the ball straight forward, and he's got good protection on either side of his lines of scrimmage, or he can throw if he wants to as well, go for a long bomb type of throw directly towards one of his players. So he's got a lot of options open to him. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 3 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. Alright, so it takes directly to the top of turn number 3 for my team, the Necromantic Horrors. And the first thing I did is I activated player number 9, Urban Draco. Urban Draco is my werewolf. He actually did blitz action running all the way across the line of scrimmage, towards the line of scrimmage, just smashing directly into this player. The skink player who actually had the ball, Soft Taco. I got both knockdown results. I got a player down and a both knockdown result. So I decided to do both knockdowns, so that way my opponent does lose the ball. So because the ball did bounce over 1 square right behind these 2 source blockers. However, though, my armor was penetrated, so because I did get stunned for Urban Draco, but well worth in my opinion because I was able to get the ball out of their hands. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 4 for the Gators of Gwaka'Moli Crater. So starting from the top of turn number 4 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators for Senior Chang. As you can see, quite a bit of dramatic movement took place over here. First of all, player number 3, which is player number 7, Crunchy Taco. Wait, no, not 7. Yeah, Crunchy Taco. He managed to get back on his feet again, so that way he could actually become useful for his team later on. Meanwhile, the most dramatic movement, however, took place over here on this side of the table. First of all, this player number here, I believe that's player number 11, I believe that's his name. Player Soft Taco. He actually moves up, picks up the ball, actually runs it directly towards the rest of his teammates, and he's actually making his way directly to the end zone. However, what ended up happening is that player number 9, however, Nacho the Skink, he tried to go through his follows as well. He got back on his feet, trying to move through the line of scrimmage. Unfortunately, cannot dodge out of this tackle zone. So because he stumbles and falls, which of course causes immediate turnover. So that being said, we go directly to top of turn number 4 for the Necromantic Horrors. Alright, so that takes directly to turn number 4 for the Necromantic Horrors, and the most dramatic thing occurred right over here in the wide field. So first of all, I had this player over here, my Flesh Golem, player number 13, Geraldus von Stahl. He threw a block directly in this player, managed to get a power result and also knock him down and moving in, which that did is it freed up the tackle zone for my werewolf player number 10, Emmett the Mad. Emmett the Mad did a blitz action, moving up 4 squares in order to throw a blitz directly into this player, Soft Taco, managed to knock him down and cause the ball to jump over 1 space. From there, Emmett the Mad then went over that square, passed his agility test, picked up the ball, passed another agility test to escape out of this little skink's tackle zone, and ran back all the way over here for the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, I also threw another block right over here with player number 14, my Flesh Golem Conrad Volok, threw directly into the team captain, player number 1, Beef Supreme, managed to knock him over as well. At the same time, our very last action, I then activated the very last of my ghouls, Norma de Acqui. She actually moved down directly from the top of the line, directly towards this wide zone. My plan here is either do one of two things, either run the ball with my werewolf or pass the ball over directly to my ghoul and then run it directly to the end zone. I still have some options open to me, and that pretty much makes up turn number 4. So with that being said, we go to turn number 5 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Alright folks, now we're directly to the top of turn number 5 for the Senior Chang as well as his Lizardmen team, the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. First of all, for a lot of dramatic movement took place over here, he actually took all of his skinks that he actually had headed toward the next end zone, and actually have surround player number 10, which is Emmett the Mad. And I'm also kind of worried because Doritos Locos, which is this little chameleon guy, he's a perfect defensive player. He's got an ability called On the Ball where he can actually move 3 squares to try to intercept the ball. So I do have to worry about it, especially since I'm planning on passing it directly towards Nomadiaki because I can't escape here without, trying to break through a couple of tackles at the same time. Meanwhile, the source along the bottom of the wide zone managed to put down a couple of my players. However, the most dramatic movement took place at player number 3, Crunchwrap. He tried to throw a block into one of my zombies, but unfortunately rolled player down instead. So because of that, it did puncture his armor, which is actually kind of hilarious. And at the same time, putting a stun result on him as well, causing immediate turnover. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 5 for the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So we're back with top of turn number 5 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and some dramatic movement has taken place. So first of all, Emmett the Man managed to land a successful pass, even through all these SARS warriors. My buddy tried to, of course, block him, of course, to try to intercept. Unfortunately, he rolled a 1 for his Chameleon Skink, and since he's out of rerolls for this round, I wasn't able to do anything else, and plus I just went past these SARS warriors as well. So I went directly to Norma de Acqui, my ghoul, who then took it and ran it all the way, rushing twice, and just 1 square away from actually making it directly towards the end zone. So that part was kind of sad, but luckily for me though, I don't have really much to worry about because my other ghoul, Isidore von Drachenfels, he decided to pull a blitz directly onto this skink, managed to knock him over, and then finished the rest of his turn in order to run alongside Norma de Acqui, so that way if anybody tries to get towards my ghoul, they have to get past the tackle zone on my other ghoul, so that way he's perfectly covered. And that pretty much makes up turn number 5 for this one. So we're turn number 5 over with, to go directly to the top of turn number 6. Alright, so it takes directly to the top of turn number 6. As you can see, a couple of these guys do try to move up as quick as they can or try to intercept my ghouls. We have this one source player who actually managed to escape the tackle zone out of player number 13, Geraldus von Stahl. So he actually made it all the way directly over here, as well as this little chameleon skink up here. However, the 2 most dramatic pieces of movement that took place was over here at the bottom of the table over here. Player number 7, Crunchy Taco, actually ran a blocking action with an assist from Doritos Locos, managed to put a knockout result on Emmett the Mad. So because of that, he is now currently in the dugout recovering. I guess my buddy Singer Chain didn't like the fact I made that pass. And then of course we have this player, player number 6. This player's name is Chalupa Supreme. He tried to get out of the tackle zone of Gwaka'Moli von Stahl as well, but unfortunately for him though, failed his agility test, and because of that, he got knocked down as well. And that pretty much makes up turn number 6 for this one. So with that, we go directly to the top of turn number 6 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and all I had to do is move my ghoul over 1 more space, and touchdown for the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. And just like that, I managed to take the lead with 1 point for my touchdown. So that being said, we're going to re-rack our players real quick, and we'll come back when it comes back for the kickoff. Alright, so now we're back with the kickoffs. As you can see, our teams are now lined up. As you can see as well, I decided to go completely on the offensive, having all my guys pretty much on the line of scrimmage. Meanwhile, we kicked off on the table, ended up being a change in weather. So because of that, we rolled again, ended up being perfect conditions. So because of the ball scattered one last time. So the ball originally landed right here, right between these two skinks. However, it bounced over 4 spaces and 1 down, including that scatter right behind this little chameleon skink right here. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 7, and we start off with the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Alright, so directly to top of turn number 7. Unfortunately, my buddy Senior Chain did forget to actually move his turn marker, so just like that, that's legal procedure, and that pretty much makes up turn number 6 for him. Turn number 7 for him. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 7 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So from the bottom of turn number 7, I go first because I do activate one of my ghouls, Isidore von Drachenfels. He actually tries to move a blitz action directly into this player, player number 6, which is Chalupa Supreme. Unfortunately, I got a both down result as an action because of that, so because of that we both go down. Unfortunately, Isidore von Drachenfels, my ghoul, gets a stun result. So just like that, he's face on the ground while Chalupa Supreme is perfectly fine, and that causes immediate turnover. So because I go directly to the top of turn number 8. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 8 for Senior Chang. Unfortunately for him, he did try to move Doritos Locos directly into the ball to pick it up. He rolled a 1 for his agility pass, so because of the ball does scatter and bounce 1. And since he is out of reroll tokens, that pretty much makes up his last turn of the turn. And because it's the very last turn of the first half of the game, I decided to take a knee. And that ends the first half of the game. So that being said, my buddy Senior Chang and I will re-rack. I will be receiving the ball in the second half of the game. We'll come back when we get ready for kickoff. Alright, so we are now back for the second half of the game. This time I will be receiving the ball. So this is after the kickoff. For the kickoff, we actually rolled a 7 on this one for my buddy Senior Chang, which means he gets brilliant coaching, which means he gets 1 more additional reroll for this drive. So now he's got 3 rerolls, so good for him. As you can see, he's pretty much lined up his entire team along the line of scrimmage, keeping his chameleon in the backfield to act as a team player. Meanwhile, I pretty much done exactly the same thing, putting most of my zombies directly and flesh ghouls directly on the line of scrimmage as well. Don't have really much in the wide zones in this case. I only got my 2 ghouls. The reason why is because I got my 2 werewolves in the back here to intercept the ball. Now the ball did of course land right between the 2 of them and bounced over 4 squares directly to the bottom. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 1, and I get to go first. The top of turn number 1, and as you can see, quite a bit of action has taken place here along the line of scrimmage. As you can see, I've actually pushed and powed a couple of Saurus warriors out of the way, making this hole directly right here in the line, and I followed through with my players so that way those tackle zones are covered, allowing my 2 werewolves to try to slip right through. At the same time, I also sent up this zombie to block Doritos Locos. At the same time, I also sent Necromantic Horrors around the wide zone, making a hole here, causing a blitz on this guy and pushing him over, and actually moving all the way through, so that way I can pass the ball if I need to get another touchdown, or I can run the ball, so leaving myself a couple of options open just in case. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 1 for Senior Chang. So we're back at the bottom of turn number 1 for Senior Chang. So as you can see up here in the top, he actually made some dramatic movement plays over here in the top. So first of all, he got player number 6, which is Chalupa Supreme. He originally did a blocking action directly towards the zombie. However, though, he actually got both down results, so he burned up one of his rerolls, which is one that he got from the kickoff, and actually got a push because I pushed my zombie back, which then freed up one of his other players, which is player number 5, Belgrande, the Saurus warrior. Belgrande did a blitz action going around the wide field directly towards the end and actually throwing himself directly into my player, Urban Draco, which caused him to drop the ball, which scattered over 1 space. The reason why is because they got a both down result, and he figured that'd be the best one to use, so that way I dropped the ball as well, and that pretty much ends turn number 1. So turn number 1 over with, we go directly to the top of turn number 2. Alright, so that takes directly to the top of turn number 2 for the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. As you can see, quite a bit has actually happened, especially on the line of scrimmage. As you can see, I've been taking out players and also marking players in order to make sure that nobody can intercept my werewolf as well as ghoul as they make their way directly to the end zone. I managed to pull a blocking action over here in the top, as well as in the bottom and top of the wide zones, as well as put a couple of guys down as well with some blocking actions, and I also got this guy marked as well. Meanwhile, Emmett the Mad is making his way directly towards the end zone, followed by Necromantic Horrors, so that way I can pass the ball to the ghoul if I have to, if I feel like I'm going to be intercepted, or I can actually run the ball and get a second touchdown. So with the top of turn number 2 over with, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2 for the Lizardmen. So we go directly to the bottom of turn number 2, and my buddy Senior Chang forgot to move his turn marker. So just like that, it now directly goes to the end of turn number 2 because of legal procedure, which caused me a changeover. So then we go directly to the top of turn number 3. Okay, so now... All right, so if you guys remember the last turn, what ended up happening is my buddy Senior Chain forgot to move his turn marker, and I gave him so much crap about it too. I told him, "Oh my God, you forgot to move your turn markers, and because of that, I'm gonna be able to get another touchdown." But you know that first thing I decided to do, instead of actually moving my turn marker, I tried to move my werewolf. Totally forgot to move my turn marker. So just like that, turn number 3 is a complete wash, just because, for me anyways, because I forgot to move my turn marker. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 3 for my buddy Senior Chang. Oh my goodness. Okay, I gotta collect myself. We'll be right back after turn number 3. Alright, so we go back to the bottom of turn number 3. So Senior Chain does try to activate one of his players. This player's player number 3. His name is Crunchwrap. He does try to escape the tackle zone of player number 13, Geraldus von Stahl, which is one of my flesh golems. Unfortunate for him, though, he did fail his agility test. My buddy Senior Chain then burned up one of his rerolls in order to try again. Unfortunate for him, though, he rolled the same exact result. He rolled another 1. So just like that, he fails to get out of the tackle zone, which caused him to stumble, which then caused immediate turnover for turn number 4. Alright, so that takes us back directly to the top of turn number 4. So my very first activation, I move player number 10, Emmett the Man, my werewolf, who decides to run directly to the end zone, and touchdown number 2 for my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So just like that, I'm now in the lead with 2-0 against the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. So that being said, we're going to now re-rack and get ready for the kickoff. So because of that, I'll be kicking off directly towards the Senior Chang and his Lizardmen team. So we'll be right back after we get everything set up. Alright, so now we're back with the kickoff. As you say, I decided to play a little bit more defensive this time, kind of scooting back my players a little bit this time around. I mean, I've been kind of explaining the line of scrimmage a lot, trying to punch through. However, though, I've been also putting myself at a lot of risk. So I decided to kind of spread out my players just a little bit more, kind of create like this kind of flying W look right now, so that way I can hit on the flanks. So I decided to put my werewolves on one side, as well as my ghouls on the other, so that way I can run the ball in either direction. However, when I kicked off the ball this time around, I rolled a 7 on the kickoff table, which means I get one more additional reroll for this drive, so now I'm back to reroll 2, which is absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, when I kicked the ball, though, I did put the ball originally here, but it scattered 5 spaces to 8 o'clock position. It moved 6 spaces, there we go, to the 5 o'clock position, and moved all the way to the end zone. Because of that, caused a touchback, so because of that, Senior Chain decided to get the ball directly to Doritos Locos, which is his chameleon skink right there. And just like that, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 4 for Senior Chang. So that being said, let's go ahead and get this battle report started. Alright, so we're back at the bottom of turn number 4 for Senior Chang as well as his Lizardmen team. So as you can see here, quite a bit has actually happened. For the most part, most of the impacts took place here along the center part of the line of scrimmage. It looks like what's happening is that Senior Chang is going to try to make a hole once again right through the middle line, right between the wide zone as well as this area, pushing my guys down this way. At the same time, he's also marked players on the wide zone, so that way I can't flank his players. At the same time, also moved up his skinks and chameleon skink along this pocket here, trying to slip through, it looks like, to try to make it directly to the end zone. And that pretty much makes up turn number 4 for Senior Chang. So turn number 4 over with, we go directly to the top at turn number 5. So at the top of turn number 5, we go with the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and as you can see, some dramatic things took place over here. First of all, player number 10, Emmett the Man, managed to push back player number 11, which is Soft Taco, so managed to push that guy down, which freed up player number 9, Urban Draco. He actually moved directly from the line of scrimmage all the way up and actually pulled a blitz on Doritos Locos Tacos, which caused the ball to bounce to the 5 o'clock position, which landed directly towards Urban Draco. I did manage to pass my agility test, so I did catch the ball, and I did use up all my move to pull that blitz, so I decided to try to rush it directly to the right-hand side. So I rolled to see if I can make it to another square. I rolled a 1. I decided not to burn my die just because I'm already up 2-0, so it does cause me to stumble. It caused the ball to bounce once again to the 5 o'clock position, and just like that ends turn number 5 in immediate turnover. So with that being said, we go directly to bottom number 5 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Alright, so that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 5 real quick, so let's go and talk about what happened. So first of all, for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators, first of all, what ended up happening is that the most dramatic play took place with Doritos Locos. He actually stood back up again and moved 4 squares over to pick up the ball. Unfortunately, he did fail his first pickup attempt, so because of that, my friend decided to burn up his very last reroll in order to get that ball, so because he does have it in his possession. Meanwhile, one of his other players over here, Skinks, moved up directly along the wide zone. He does manage to push back some guys up here in the top to make some room for himself. However, the main effect took place over here, player number 7, Crunchy Taco, which is the skink does try to block, what's his name, Norma de Aquis, but unfortunately for the guy that got both down result, causing immediate changeover. So that being said, it takes directly at the top of turn number 6. Alright, so we're back with the top of turn number 6 for the Necromantic Horrors, and as you can see, some dramatic things have happened over here on the tabletop. So first of all, let's talk about what happened first. So the first thing that ended up happening is I actually moved up one of my werewolves, player number 9, Urban Draco. He actually moves up and actually pulls a sorry, not player number 9, I'm sorry, player number 10, which is one of my werewolves, Emmett the Mad. He actually does a blitz action, moving along the wide zone up directly behind the line of scrimmage, doing a blitz directly into Doritos Locos. Now the ball did bounce, I managed to put a power result on him, so the ball bounced over to where my other werewolf was, which is Urban Draco. Got back on his feet again, picked up the ball, so because of that he was able to run, using up only 4 squares, moved directly up to the top here, so that way he can make a move on directly towards the end zone. So because of he managed to get the ball, was all kinds of fantastic. Meanwhile, the rest of my team did kind of bully up on some of the members of the lines of scrimmage, push some guys around as well, making it to where I can actually get my guy to move directly towards the end zone. At the same time, one of my ghouls also moved up in order to help out, as well as one of my other zombies. So that being said, we go directly to the bottom of number 6 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Alright, so we go directly to the top, bottom of turn number 6. So once again, the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators pretty much get back on their feet again on the line of scrimmage. However, the most dramatic effect, however, took place up here. We'll play number 7, Crunchy Taco. Crunchy Taco actually tries to pull a blitz directly from the wide zone, weaving past the ghoul directly into Urban Draco, but unfortunately for him, that when he went to go roll it for his tackle dice, he rolled 2 player down results. So just like that, he manages to get knocked down, which caused immediate turnover, and my werewolf is perfectly fine. So that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 7. Alright, so that takes us directly to the top of turn number 7. All I did is I activated my first player, which is Urban Draco, makes it directly to the end zone, and touchdown number 3 for the Necromantic Horrors of the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers. So just like that, we go directly to the end of the turn because we're going to re-rack real quick and then, of course, go to a kickoff. And we'll be right back when we actually line up for that. Alright, so now we're back for the kickoff. As you can see, the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators actually got an event called Quick Snap, which meant that when they roll, you get D3 plus 3 players to move up 1 square forward. So my buddy Senior Chain rolled a D6, rolled a 6 because he got to move 6 of his players forward. As he's got 2 Source Warriors past the line of scrimmage, he moved up his Chameleon Skink as well as one of his other skinks, as well as one of his Source Warriors directly into the line of scrimmage, as well as one of his other skinks as well. Now, as you can see, once again, I decided to go on that W type of movement again this time around because it worked so well this time. Except that this time I decided to put a werewolf and ghoul in each of my end zones, so that way I have my options open. Now, the ball, of course, did snap over here and landed over here after it scattered. So with that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 7, and my buddy Senior Chang gets to go first. Alright, so that takes directly to the bottom of turn number 7 for Senior Chang. As you can see, some dramatic things have occurred. First of all, these 2 Source Warriors managed to pow both of my guys, my werewolf and as well as my ghoul, and put them down, as well as these guys over here managed to go up to the top. This player actually here managed to get out of this tackle zone and move over here and blitz this guy on the top and managed to push that zombie and pow him as well. It's left this huge open area, in which case Doritos Locos actually slipped through with his maximum moon allowance directly to the end over here. Meanwhile, the most dramatic play, however, took place at player number 10, Cinnabite. Cinnabite, the skink, actually moved up and picked up the ball, moved up his maximum movement allowance, and did a throwing pass directly into Cinnabite, rolling a perfect 6 on the throw on that one. Cinnabite, Doritos Locos, of course, had no problem catching the ball with that beautiful agility score, and so because of that, he also earned himself a star player point for Cinnabite as well for making that completion. Meanwhile, at the top of the rest of the turn was dedicated to hitting my line of scrimmage. Guys got powed by a bunch of Source Warriors up here in the top, as well as being marked by skink players, so I have no players whatsoever that can try to intercept this guy without first passing an agility test to escape a tackle zone. So I do have my work cut out for me. So with that being said, we go directly to the top of turn number 8. Alright, so we're in the top of turn number 8, and as you can see, I pretty much moved all my guys as quick as I can in order to intercept this player. Now, unfortunately, I will not be able to blitz them just because I have no players that can actually do so, besides some zombie players, but they have horrible agility scores. However, I relied upon my ghouls as well as my werewolves. So my 2 ghouls and werewolves up here managed to escape the tackle zone up here from the Source Warriors, moving diagonally and rushing all the way directly into this path. Hopefully, I can cut him off along his route. Otherwise, I could take him out so that we can't get any touchdowns. At the same time, the same thing with my ghouls and my werewolves over here. They manage to pass their agility tests, escape the tackle zones, and pretty much surround this guy. So you'll have a bunch of different agility tests you'll have to take in order to make it directly to the end zone. So with that being said, we go directly to the bottom of turn number 8, which is the very last turn for this game. Alright, so now we're directly to the bottom of turn number 8 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. No rerolls whatsoever. And if you can believe it, that crazy chameleon skink made it all the way to the end. Oh my god, as you can see here, you actually managed to pass 2 tackle zone tests directly from these guys as well. Then you ran past my ghoul up here, passed a tackle zone from that guy as well. Side skirted my werewolf, passing an initiative test, a agility test to pass him, and he went for it, getting himself a touchdown! Number 1 for the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators. Unfortunately, it's not enough for my buddy Senior Chain to pull off the game with a score of 3-1, but still, this little guy earned whatever star player points he got because he dodged so many attempts to try to take this guy out. So that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going directly to the post game because this battle report is now officially over.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Sure, I could have stayed in the past. Could have even been king. But in my own way, I am king. Hail to the king, baby.
Alright, so now it's time for the post game. So starting off with the Gwaka'Moli Crater Gators for Senior Chang. For the outcome, they lost the game 3-1, and because of that, they earned 0 league points because of it. However, for their winnings, though, they were able to score 30,000 gold pieces. For the dedicated fans, they had no change in that category, and they actually suffered no injuries as well. However, for advancements, they did have 2 players level up. We have the Chameleon Skate number 8, Doritos Locos. He learned the Leap skill and earned his value up to 10,000 credits. At the same time, Skink player number 9, Nacho, learned the Diamond Catch skill and also increased his score by 10,000 points as well. Nacho was the MVP for his team in this battle report. Now, for his inducements, he actually combined with the 40,000 he actually had in his treasury and the 30,000 from his winnings. He spent all 70,000 in order to earn a 3rd reroll for his team. So now his team has 3 rerolls for their inducements. Now for his record, his current record now is at 0 wins and 1 loss, and his new team rating now is at 1,050 points. So with that, we go on directly to my team, the Wolfenburg Crypt-Stealers, and they actually won their very first game with the outcome of 3 touchdowns versus 1, and they also earned 4 league points because they got those 3+ touchdowns, which is absolutely fantastic. Now for my winnings, I earned 50,000 gold pieces from this game, and I also increased my dedicated fan base by 1 point, so that part was completely awesome. For my injuries, I suffered no injuries at this time, and for advancements, actually 3 members of my team leveled up. Ghoul player number 3, Isidore von Drachenfeld, he also got the MVP award as well as managed to score a touchdown. He actually learned the pass skill, increasing his value by 20,000 gold pieces. After that, I have both of my werewolf players. Werewolf player number 9, Urban Draco, also leveled up, learning the sprint skill and increasing his value by 10,000 gold pieces. And werewolf player number 10, Emmett the Mad, also learned the Dirty Player +1 skill and also increased his value by 10,000 gold pieces. Now, with my 50,000 gold pieces, with combined the money that I actually had in my treasury, that brought me up to, I believe, 80,000 gold pieces. I spent 70,000 of those gold pieces to purchase a 3rd reroll for my team, so now my team has 3 rerolls in total. My new record now is at 1 win and 0 losses, and my new team rating now is at 1,080 points. So that's good to do for this week, guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is invaluable to us as always. Also, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com. for all the latest greatest hobby news related to this channel. That's good for this week, guys. We'll catch you guys next one. Peace out and stay classy.